And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday. This is PM Therapy Live. And I'm really excited about today's show because we're going to be talking about a career pivot, right? So we're going to be talking about how do you pivot into project management, and when you're in project management, how do you pivot into leadership? I think these are some of the two biggest pivots that a PM can make in their career, right? So the pivot into project management, and then the pivot into leadership. All right. So and I think that we have the perfect guest to talk about this topic. Joey, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Joey?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very happy to have an opportunity to chat with you. I've been an admirer of your work and everything that you've done for the project management community for quite some time. So I was looking forward to this. So thank you very much.
No, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for making the time. I think you have a very impressive background, and I'm really excited to dive into your story. All right, so Joey, for those that don't know who you are, please can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Joey Perugino. As the topic of the conversation is, I did not start as a project manager. I kind of happened to, I guess, transfer to or migrate my life from what used to be a branch manager to becoming a project manager. And throughout this experience, I've seen a lot of people that have wanted to do the same thing as I did, and that perhaps had didn't know where to start, didn't know how to do it, and things of the sort. It's something that I don't regret doing. I was in banking for about 10 years, Mukhtar, before I made the transition. Project management was something that was happening around me because when you're in banks, there's a lot of projects where they implement new systems, they do a lot of things. And I was seeing some colleagues of mine that were making the transition into this field, and I thought it was interesting. I don't really have an IT or an engineering background. I was more into personal finance, banking, and things of the sort. I'm comfortable with computers. I always was. So that kind of helps. But it was an adventure. And my roadmap to being the person that I am today, I guess, is what I want to share with people. And I want to encourage people to go into this wonderful field that is project management. It's not for everyone. I know that it comes with a lot of challenges. However, it's one where I really found myself. I think I was born to be a project manager. Life is a project to me, and I just get paid to manage projects now. But it was kind of something now in hindsight, I realize that I always wanted to do. But it's not a path that comes easily. There's no such thing as going to university to be a project manager and then you get the role right away. You really have to assert leadership. You have to raise your hand and say, I want to be in this field. The paths are different. Everybody has a different path.
Right.
Okay. And we all find ourselves someday parachuted into the role. But there's a certain tool set or set of skills that we need in order for us to be able to survive and make it in this world of project management. And I guess this is where it becomes interesting.
Right.
It touches onto so many different things.
Right.
Where did you originally come from, Mukhtar? Were you originally a project manager, or how did you get into
Yeah.
this world?
No. I think in a way, I think it's similar. I was managing projects before I had the title. So basically, I so I started out in oil and gas, and I was I was sort of in a consulting position where it's like, okay, there was this account with a client, and I was told, okay, just deliver, because I had technical knowledge. So it was like delivering a software for an oil and gas company. So I had both software and petroleum engineering background, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in order for us to recognize revenue, we had to deliver deliverables on the project, right? So basically, there were milestone payments, right? And then you have your bosses, like, they just want to recognize revenue.
Yeah.
So you have to deliver, and every delivery, every milestone payment is basically a project, or at least it's a phase in the project, right? So yeah, I guess I was just already doing it, and then I got promoted. I was now leading like teams that were delivering and implementing the software across different countries. And then when I now moved to Canada, when I was now like, okay, what do I want to do? And then reflecting back, I was like, okay, wow, I've actually been doing project management, project/product management. And
Mm-hmm.
then I now had the official title. But before I had the official title, I was doing it for about 9 years.
Yeah. So that's very good. So you had an opportunity, I guess, to get your hands a little bit in the dough,
Right.
see what it was like to be a project manager. And your path is very typical. I mean, you normally don't get nominated right away to be a project manager. You kind of demonstrate leadership. You raise your hand and you take charge and you help coordinate things. And as a result, after you're given the title, but it usually doesn't come right away. And that's one of the things that I try to help people with, like when they want to make the transition. It's like, okay, what are you doing right now where you already demonstrate leadership, where you're already working in teams, collaborating, getting people to work together, working towards an objective, delivering something. And from there, at least you have something that you can build on. I mean, we're fortunate because I think in the project management industry with PMI and with Scrum and all the different things that are out there, for agility, there's a lot of places where if you want help or you want to be mentored or be around people that do what we do, you're exposed to it. You have a good chance to be around people. Not all fields are like that. I think we're fortunate in project management that there are these peers and all these groups and networks of people where we can be surrounded with. We can get experience, absorb what they do, and things of the sort. And they almost welcome you becoming a part of the community and things of the sort. One of the things that I did when I said I want to become a project manager, so I already had a university degree, but I did a master's degree in science of project management, which gave me a lot of the tools more at a program level. And when I was there, I guess my dissertation, my thesis was on PMOs, which can be the best friend of project managers, but often are seen as bureaucratic, red tape, and things of the sort. And I kind of fell in love with this world. And then I became a member of PMI, and I volunteered to take part in all kinds of projects. Didn't get paid anything, but learned a lot. And, I think I got my first mandate about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I haven't looked back ever since. I feel fortunate that I did this. A lot of my friends that were in banking at the time, because I had a fairly good position. I was a branch manager, a fairly big branch, had many employees under my supervision. People thought I was crazy to just let it all go.
Right.
But I guess I did a study. I mean, a lot of inside the in transition. I guess I thought to myself, and I said, do I really want to stay here? Do I see myself doing this for the next 25 years of my life until I retire, or do I want to do something else? The good thing about migrating to project management is everything's a project. You always start over. There's always some new challenges. It keeps things interesting. It can be tough sometimes. And I think you need, at the core, you need to kind of build a very strong outer shell in order to be a project manager. It takes courage. It takes many different things. But you become a stronger, better person because of that. And I guess you lead an interesting life. You get the chance to do a lot of transformations, help organizations go through many things. This is a subject that I'm very passionate about. And as I was telling you when I was writing about this, when you met me, I wrote a book on this. I'm going to be releasing it soon about how you make the transition kind of from being a project manager, your first roles, to being a project leader or a strategic leader.
Just quickly, Joey, before we go there, so you were the branch director of a
very large bank, yes,
a very large bank, and one of the largest branches, around.
Yeah.
What made you decide to leave that? Like, what did you see in project management? I said, okay, this is why I want to leave all of that behind. Like, what did you see in project management?
Well, I mean, it's not a question of leaving all that behind, but I want to try something new. I had a friend who started with me at the bank. We kind of started at the same time. And he was like the expert in choosing a role where he went. And about a year after he was there, they would close the division. He would have to go work somewhere else, and he found himself doing that 3-4 times. And then he kind of landed in project management 5-6 years before I did. And he was really happy. And he said, Joey, you should do that too. Okay. And I was at an age where I guess I had already spent a certain amount of time. I had gone up the ranks. I was a branch manager, but it was something where there was a lot of pressure. A lot of my friends, that were around me were receiving packages. They were cutting their jobs and sending them shipping. And they had a hard time determining what they wanted to do. Did they want to stay in banking, get a job working for another bank, do something of the sort? And I started reflecting on that, and I said, do I want to be like them? I was a branch manager. I was like 40 years old. And I had ex-branch managers that were working with me, that were my financial services managers. They had been demoted. They were close to burnout, just waiting their days before for their retirement, their magic number to come. And I was saying, if I don't do something now, I'm going to be like them. Right. And I didn't want that for myself. So I said, maybe be a little bit courageous now and take the right steps to go into something that you're going to be passionate about, where you're always going to be challenged to learn. I've done so many accreditations since I started this. Practically every year or every other year, there's a new thing that comes out that you need to learn, and you need to absolutely have this tool and get this knowledge. And just for being a member of PMP, you need to get continuous learning every 2 years and things of the sort. So you're kind of put on a path where you can never really rest on your laurels. You always have to be pushing yourself. You have to be learning. One of the things that I believe in very strongly is when you stop learning, you stop growing. And that's when you start decaying.
For sure. Joey, just quickly, I was I was just gonna say something that I forgot. It will probably come back to me. But by the way, those of you that are watching, please do just say hello in the chat. Where you're calling in from. Happy International Project Management Day. Is that how it's called?
Exactly. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Happy Project
Not
Management Day.
too many
So,
people know about it. I was telling
yeah,
people at my work today, Happy International Project Manager. Say, oh, I said, we actually have a day.
yeah,
Yes, we do.
yeah. I know. So time to celebrate ourselves because we don't always get celebrated. Um, yeah. So, oh man, it was such an important question, but it will probably come back to me. All right. So
Sorry, I talk too much sometimes, Mukhtar.
no, it's fine. We want you to talk. Right. So that's what this is about. All right. So you're a branch manager. You pivot into project man. Oh yes, yeah. The question. So what were the transferable skills that you brought from your branch management days?
This is one of the things where, it really made me say, okay, project management is the thing I want to do. Because I was not aware of this at the time. But when I said, you know what, I don't want to be a branch manager anymore. I want to do something else. Okay. I have a university degree. I've been working in banking. I've been successful for the last 10, 12 years. Let me be a manager somewhere else. And then I realized something I did not know, but banking is very, very specific. And the skills are not transferable as easily as I would have thought. I thought I would be able to get a job in manufacturing or a job somewhere else, but I was like condemned to stay in the banking industry and just keep either growing or things like that. And I said, no, that's not what I want. So I kind of was, sometimes you're put at a crossroad where you have to make a decision.
Right.
And in my case, that decision was, I'm going to invest myself fully into this. I had the support of my friend, which had already done it. So he said, definitely you have the skills, you can make it happen. You just got to reinvent yourself as Joey, the project manager.
Right.
I'm no longer Joey, the banker. I'm Joey, the project manager. Okay. And it's what I did. Started with the master's degree. And at the same time, in between, like I was halfway through it, I got my first mandate in a very large role. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but that's how it is sometimes. And I guess I plugged into my network, PMI, my friends that were project managers for help, give me the tools for me to survive. Right. And then just with courage, I asserted leadership, and I survived, and I've pretty much thrived in this industry. I've worked in pharmaceutical, in banking, in manufacturing, in I guess electricity, transportation, pretty much done them all, right. Which is not that obvious because sometimes they say, if you start in telephony or something like that in the telecommunications, you stay in telecommunications. But in my case, I've been able to successfully transition from one industry to another, to another, to another.
Right. And just quickly, Joey, so because I really just want to, because there are people listening that are probably are in the process of making the transition, or they want to make the transition to project management. And I think, a lot of times people have experience that they can build on, or experience that they can actually position or reposition for the project management space, right? So just like like we established at the beginning of the call, like it's like I became
about research management, for example. I was used to managing people. Okay, so this is an important skill.
You said resource management, right?
Yeah. How to manage people, like the resources that I had in my team and things like that, which is kind of something that project managers have to do. I was very comfortable with numbers because I came from banking. I didn't realize it was a superpower, but managing budgets and things like that is something that's very important.
Nice.
I got a role as a PCO, a project coordinator,
okay,
which was kind of my entry into becoming a project manager, which is very easy for me. I'm just running budgets and helping them do their stuff. Um, so there's certain skills, that are key. But I mean, you need to have leadership. You
Mhm.
need to have, I guess, the courage to raise your hand and say, I'm ready to do this, or I can help.
Right.
You need to be good with talking with people, getting people to collaborate and work with one another.
Right.
And
And,
there's
and
certain
you're already doing
transferable
that.
skills.
Yeah, you already like as when you were at the point of pivoting, like you're already doing that, like getting people to collaborate on to achieve a particular objective.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
right. So okay, so a lot of those skills were built, even though you got the masters, like me, maybe that would help you with number one, your
It
confidence.
made me help me more with the program stuff, which is
Mm,
not at all what I was doing at the beginning, but I
mhm.
had a deeper of understanding of the big picture,
Right.
which helped me in the micro also of just managing the budgets and helping the project managers deliver their projects.
Amazing. All right. I'm just gonna go to the chat now. I know people are putting stuff in the chat. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about how to pivot into project management and how to pivot from project management into leadership. So just say hello in the chat. Hello, Mariam. I know you have a question. We'll probably get to questions towards the end. Hello, Dr. Tony. Dr. Tony was a previous guest. Amazing, amazing, Dr. Tony. Hello, Ming Yong. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Hello, Rakesh from India. Hello, Mofashir from Singapore. Oh my goodness, isn't it late in Singapore? Hello, Edilia from Azerbaijan. Oh, wow, must be late there. Well, thank you all for tuning. And Jules from British Columbia, Canada. I thought I saw Columbia, Canada. British Columbia, Canada. Hello, Jules. All right, so yeah, if you're just tuning in, just say hello. Um, hello, Brian from Morocco. So right now, just getting back to your story, um you've pivoted from being a branch manager into project management, and now you're working on projects from across various industries. And right now you've also just or you're about to release a book on how to become a project leader. So I know there are many people that are in the that are already project managers, but they want to get to the next level. What will your advice be? Like, how can they, get into a leadership position, whether it's program manager or actually leading other PMs? Like, what will your advice be to those people?
To me, it's always of being able to demonstrate, assert your leadership, show that you're ready to take on more. Okay. Like I said, when I started in project management, I was a project coordinator, like many people that started as a in this project management world. I was a PCO. I didn't want to stay a PCO. I wanted to be more. So I raised my hand. I helped. I demonstrated initiative, and I built my skills, I guess, at being a better communicator, a better listener. I learned some of the technical things that are required in order for you to be able to excel. But mostly, I learned to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So I always put myself in a situation where can I go now? Never resting on, okay, I've succeeded in getting here. Um, I'm afraid of becoming too comfortable at something.
Okay.
When it's been a year, a little, I've been somewhere doing something for limited amount of time. I start saying, okay, what do I do next? Or what's my next thing? Where do I have to go? And it's kind of what's helped me keep growing. Sometimes you fall, but you have to be willing to take the risks if you want to be able to progress your career.
Hmm.
It's it's I I think one of the key skills, I guess, that you have to learn if you want to become a leader is you have to be, I guess, a good communicator, but you have to be courageous to be able to have the difficult discussions, to be able to take on initiatives, calculated risks, and things like that. You always have to be able to understand what's the bigger picture.
Right.
Sometimes when you're just a project manager, at the first, I guess, a tier one project manager, you're more into delivering the projects, following your resources, and you don't look really beyond. But if you start looking at the portfolio, if you start understanding the cycles, the prioritization of projects, and all the other things that senior management looks at beyond just is your project still going to be delivered on time, on budget, and within scope. That's where you start looking at the bigger picture. You have to have a good understanding, I guess, of what the next steps are. That's why, for me, the fact that I did my master's degree in the science of project management and I did my thesis on project management offices, more specifically, why they failed more often than not, really made me have a good understanding of what are the challenges to delivering projects, what are the challenges to implementing a PMO. Back when now it changed a little bit. The chaos, there was this chaos report that they used to do every year, where they talked about how badly we do at deliver projects, no matter how much effort you put into it and how much analysis and studies are done year after year. I think more than 80% of projects are not delivered on time, on scope, and within budget. Most of them are challenged, which means that you might be late, you might have changed the scope a little bit, or you will have spent more money. It's hard to have the three variables always under control. And this is something that really spoke to me, So, I guess I understood the challenges of, being able to just get it done, deliver the project. It's not an easy thing.
Okay. So Joey, if I'm hearing you correctly, if you want to, step into maybe a leadership position, if you want to become a project leader or you want to get to the next level, some of the important skills is, number one, you need to be a good communicator. You need to be courageous in that you need to be able to raise your hand to actually volunteer for, maybe the types of projects that would expose you so that, you can prove your skill. And you need to also, I guess, think about the bigger picture, just beyond your project, right? Because your project exists in a context, right? So you need to start thinking like management, just, I guess, how is your project impacting the bigger picture, and just how are things fitting together, like, when it comes to the bigger puzzle. So this is what I'm hearing. Anything else, like, that people should consider, if they want to make that next step to the next level?
Well, I think one of the very important things is, they have to define the kind of leader that they want to be.
Okay.
But they also have to think about getting involved in the community. Like I said, there's a lot. There's so many resources, so many tools that are out there. You are not alone. If you want to become a project manager, become a member of PMI. A lot of people ask me the question, I'm not going to do my PMP. Can I still be a member of PMI? Of course you can. That's one of the biggest tools that we have out there. And it's like an international thing that they have all around the world. I'm a part of PMI, many chapters. Like I'm in Montreal. I'm a part of the chapter in Italy, in the north of Italy, Italia Nord. I'm a part of the chapter in Ecuador, in Guayas, where my wife is from. I'm a part of a chapter in Quebec, which is another little city that we have in my area. Every community is different, but the thing is out there is there's this great world of people that are there just to lend a hand,
Right.
to network, to collaborate with you. And this is something that I think people don't do enough, because
Right.
there's really a lot of this, like things like you have here. This is a great tool. Everybody should be tuning in. Everybody should be listening to the conversations, taking part in the exchanges. Um, we're fortunate. Like my wife who works in HR. I often tell her it's unfortunate that you don't have this big group of network all around the world, of something like PMI or the Agile Lounge, or things of the sort. We're very fortunate to have this, but it's only there if you ask for it. If you don't, if you're afraid to ask, then you're probably just going to stay a project manager at tier one. You won't be able to grow your career, and that's okay. Maybe it might not be for everyone,
Right.
but if when you want, there's definitely a lot of things that you can do in order to be able to enter this world.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I think community is really important, especially for the PM role, because a lot of times, I know in my career, when I'm in the company, it can feel like a lonely, like a lonely endeavor, because it's just you, and then, it's you and the team basically, and yeah, many of them don't get it. Like, you are leading people that you don't necessarily have authority over, so there are just lots of things that that people will not get if you're not a PM. So it's definitely very helpful to have a community. Yeah, and speaking of that, please feel free to, if you're listening, drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat, and connect with each other. Yeah, you never know. I think community really makes us stronger. It could be exchanging ideas, exchanging notes, because I guarantee you, any challenge that you're facing right now, several people have already faced it, right? So this is an opportunity to meet up and make those connections. So I think right now, by the way, if you have a question, please drop it in the chat. So right now, I'm gonna go over some of the questions that has been asked so far. So Miriam says, in my country and company, PMs are mostly leaders too. Can you please clarify what are the borders when PM can be called as a leader, not partly, but a full leader?
I think it's a question of, do you have a voice? Do you have a seat at the table? Do people listen to you? Do they come to you? Are you invited to take part? Do they consult you on different things? If they do, that means you've succeeded in demonstrating a little bit of leadership, and they already see you as potentially more than just a project manager. Okay, so these are things that you can leverage, but it's also about being able to build the relationships. As a project manager, you have the opportunity, I guess, to be in touch with the resource managers, with some of the directors and things like that, with the PMO leaders. How you interact with them? Are you very passive? Are you more proactive in the way that you approach them and the conversations that you try to have? And things like that can have a big impact, I guess, on your potential career. There's something really smart that I read often, that people remember how you make them feel. They don't remember what you They don't remember if you delivered the project well or stuff like that. But if you went out and above and you made somebody, you really listened to someone, you were authentic, people will remember you. They'll remember that you were there. They'll remember that you stepped in and you helped. They'll remember that when nobody wanted to raise their hand, you did and you said, I can collaborate. They'll remember you trying to mend bridges and get people to work together. I think these are some of the qualities that some leaders, some project managers do have. And also, I think it's being able to understand what the big picture is and being able to ensure that no matter what life will throw at your project, you keep your eye on what it is that you wanted to achieve, and you keep bringing your team towards that objective.
Right. So, Miriam, please let us know if we answered your question. I hope we did. If we didn't, just please feel free to clarify. One thing that I just wanted to double click on, Joey, is I think you also mentioned this previously, is like as a project manager, you need to be able to build a strong outer shell, right? Because like you're going to get thrown a lot of things and a lot of challenges. How would you recommend doing that? Like that, building that emotional resiliency. What are some tips that you have?
I think it's more of a character thing. But I mean, the more you expose yourself to putting yourself out of your comfort zone, the easier it is for you to do so again.
Okay.
You realize that the world did not end. You still have your job. Maybe you didn't say things perfectly, but you said it, and you had the courage to raise your hand and say something in a meeting or whatever. Some people, I think, are afraid. I mean, I'm not a very I'm a little bit of an introvert, I think. I'm not that much of an extrovert. But for certain things, I'll raise my hand. I'll have the courage to keep going or to do things. And exposing yourself to this, I think time and time again, helps you build that shell. Like, for example, I was a project manager. I was an employee. The first mandate that I got, I was an employee. And then I guess after they did my 1-year review, I had done really, really well, but they gave me like a 4% raise or something like that. And I was telling myself, if I would have been a consultant instead, I would have been exposing myself maybe to the risk of not having a permanent job, but I would have potentially made more money. I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. And then I realized when I became a consultant and I started working on my own, going from mandate to mandate instead of being an employee, that it takes courage to go there. But at the end, mostly in my case, where I was just a placed resource on a project doing exactly the same thing that I would have been doing if I would have been an employee, just getting paid more because I have to take the risk of not being an employee. I told myself, wow, I'm really making a lot of money. I can deduct a lot of stuff. This is really a game changer for me. As much as leaving the banking to becoming an employee, becoming self-employed in some sense, creating my own corporation and just selling my services was really, really a very big thing. And, I've worked with many, many different companies. And because I guess I'm always active in the community and I sell myself a lot. I guess I try to be nice to people and help and collaborate and be there. I've never really been without a job in the last 15 years, which is something that I guess that I'm grateful for. But I mean, it all takes for me having had the courage to move where I was, to expose myself to a potential risk. It's a calculated risk, but you have to be ready to take it. You grow from that. Most of the times in the past, when my mandate's finished, because many times when you're in this industry, you work for 1 year, year and a half, you deliver a project, and after that, it's done. So you got to find something else. A lot of people take a break or they get depressed, stuff like that. For me, my approach has always been, okay, this is a time for me to re-energize myself, put myself back on track, do some of the stuff that I hadn't done. So I usually, like get up early anyways, go work out. I'm online, and I work a lot at talking to people, being part of networks, community, just exchanging with recruiters, all kinds of stuff, whatever keeps me going. And usually within 3-4 weeks, you'll have several offers and you'll be working again. But I capitalize on this in order to be able to, okay, finish something. I'm going to start a new one. Let me make sure I'm at my best. I'm in good mental health. I'm in good physical health, and I'm ready to take on a new challenge. It's all a question of the approach that you have.
Right, the perspective.
But you have to be willing to put yourself out there. There's a lot of project managers or people, in my mandates, I was with a client once as a consultant for like almost 5 years. And people always make comments, oh, you're a consultant, you guys are this. But in my head, it was like, don't say I make more money. You could have done the same thing. You just didn't have the courage to not to become a consultant. You do the same work as I do, but you're an employee. It comes with advantages. You get vacations, you get a pension, you get stuff like that. I get paid a little bit more, but it's because I had the courage to say, I'll let go of the vacation, the pension, and stuff like that, and I'll just manage these things on my own and make more money.
Joey, quick question, because I know there are many PMs that think about that. So if a PM is at the crossroads thinking, okay, should I venture out and go into consulting where, I sell my services, or should I become an employee? How would you help them in making that decision? Like, what do you think they should factor in before they decide to go become a consultant like you, or just stay an employee?
Well, you have to take a look at the fiscal implications of what you're doing. When you become a consultant, sometimes you invoice monthly. So first of all, you're going to make more money, okay? But you won't receive your money right away. It's going to take 1 or 2 months before you get paid the first time. And then when you get paid, well, you get a big chunk. And then after that, the next month, because once you have your cycle, the next month you have another good chunk. And then in a month after that. But that when your mandate finishes, you're not going to have anything maybe for a month or two, because even if you find a new mandate right away, you have to do your first invoice, and that's going to be 1 month and things of the sort. So I think you got to build yourself a little bit of a cushion. Okay, that's one important thing. But for the rest, the job is pretty much the same. You don't get paid weekly anymore. You don't get paid every 2 weeks. Most mandates, I think, are monthly. Okay, and you can assume that you'll have to wait at least 6 weeks before you get your first payment, because some I guess contracts pay you. You have an option to get paid faster and things like that. Okay, but you have that little cushion. But most of it is, if you can already do the job, if you're already a good project manager and you're an employee, and you're considering becoming a good project manager, but being a consultant, it's very probable that you would be just as successful as a consultant as you are an employee, because that you do the job well, you have good relationship with people, you're good at communications, you deliver your projects successfully. The only difference between them, and the consultant had the courage to say, I won't tie my hat to one specific company. I'm going to go out there and say, I'm a hired resource. You want to hire me? I'll work for you, but pay me as a contractor. Of course, you need to have an accountant that works with you. You need to do your taxes on a yearly basis, the same way that you would have to do it as an individual. But you have your two entities. There's the corporate you, and there's the personal you,
Right.
which is something some people don't like paperwork, or they're allergic to it. So that might be difficult for them. Okay, but I think if you take the risk, I think most people that become consultants after they do it for a little while, it's hard for them to become an employee again.
Go back. Okay. So you would say, in the end, would you say it is financially better because, there is the gap where you don't necessarily have anything, like you mentioned, when you're looking for your next employment. So even with that, like with the benefits, with the fact that you don't have benefits and all of that, or maybe you don't have vacation, pay time off, like would you say in the end, financially, being a consultant is more financially rewarding than
Well, I think absolutely. There's no doubt about it, Mukhtar.
Right. Amazing. All right. Let's see. I think another question came in. This is from Dr. Tony. What do you suggest to PMs that want to transition to PMO roles? Any training needed?
That's a very good question that Dr. Tony is saying. The PMO BP, the PMO Business Practitioner training certification, I think is excellent. The one from PMI, the PMO CP is very good too.
Okay.
I did my master's in the science of project management, which was very focused on PMOs. So that helped a lot. But there again, too, I mean, when you grow in experience in your role as a project manager, you usually transition to becoming project manager, to program manager, and maybe portfolio manager. And after that, usually, the next step would be PMO leader or something of the sort.
Right.
Okay. So to me, it's the natural progression, okay, of getting PMOs. PMOs are the central, all large organizations should have a PMO, okay? But they're the central operating center that helps organizations meet their strategic goals, and they can be the project manager's best friend, okay? If they're set up right, they can really make a big difference in doing helping organizations reach their goals. The PMO BP course actually is we've had 2 cohorts now. There's another one that's coming up in February. You should look it up. It's PMO BP Business Practitioner, and it's really a great training, very complete. 4 days, 4 full days, workshops, and then there's a community of PMO of the graduates of the PMO BP, I guess, that are networking and helping one another in this fascinating world of managing PMOs.
Right.
But definitely,
Sorry.
I'm interested.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Joey. So
Go ahead.
amazing. So yeah, the PMO. So for PMO trainings, PMO CP, PMO BP, and I think this will be our last question for the day. This is from Hussein. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Is it possible? All right. So I think this is more of training for somebody who is just starting up or starting off in the project management field? Any advice here?
I mean, there's so many different tools that you can use, but I think there's some free trainings that you find online, LinkedIn, things of the sort on the essentials of project management. PMI has the CAPM, okay, which is for people that don't necessarily have the experience to do the PMP yet. Okay, the CAPM, CAPM exposes you to a lot of the concepts and things of the sort that you would see when you do the big exam, the PMP. Okay, but the CAPM it's a fairly easy course. Everybody, I think, is eligible in order to be able to follow it, and it introduces all of the different elements, that you're going to need in order to be able to lead a project successfully. But mostly, you don't have the experience. Become a member of PMI. Go to networking events. Go to the free conferences. Expose yourself.
Right.
Be around project managers. Be a part of the community. Right. That's how you're going to learn.
Yeah, and even just volunteering. Sometimes you don't even need to. I'm a big proponent of not waiting to be given an opportunity. Like just
Absolutely.
around you. If you're working in a company, like it, you can even just do a project. Right, a project is something that has a start and an end, and then there's an objective, and it could be just you working on it, it could be you just improving the process, or it could be you working with other people, and that's a small project. So you can start there and start to actually implement some of the things that you're learning right from these courses, and just use that, and before you know it, like one thing will lead to another, and you'll be managing big projects. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention Courage saying hello from Moscow. I think this is, I don't know if we've had anybody.
We have a very international group of people listening in. This is cool.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what, I'm not sure what time it is in Moscow. Like, it's amazing. Moscow, Singapore. Yeah, I appreciate you all tuning in. So now we're going to the final part of this talk, Joey. This is recommendation. So I usually do this with all guests. What is one book that you recommend, or your favorite book? Anyone?
Okay. It's not necessarily related to project management, but one of the things when I wanted to become a project manager, I read the book by Robin Sharma, Leader Without a Title. Okay, or The Leader That Didn't Have a Title, something like that. But it's a book about someone that even though he doesn't have the title, he demonstrates the skills, and he acts just like if he had the title. He takes initiative, he has courage and stuff like that. And I think it's good reading for anyone that wants to become a leader, a project manager, or things of the sort. So if I had to recommend a book, it would be that one. Books like, have you ever read The Miracle Morning?
No, I haven't. I've heard about it.
No, that's a very, very good book by Al Elrod about just starting your day right. You get up from the moment you get up, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, ideally earlier because you have time to prepare your day. Okay, right. But you go through a series of like different things that you do in order for you to be able to get yourself well prepared to face your day. Sometimes it starts the day before, planning your day ahead, having a journal, things like that. Okay, but The Miracle Morning, really a great read. I enjoyed that very much.
Nice.
So if they just take those two books, Leader Without a Title, Who Had No Title, and The Miracle Morning, I think they would be very, very, they would be off to a good start.
Amazing. What's one app you love or recommend?
One app I love or recommend. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I think the app is great. I love ChatGPT. I have the app on my phone. I have the paid version, I guess. But I mean, I think it's a great tool. AI is just something that's starting right now, and it has so much potential to help us, I guess, win our days. I don't think that AI will replace project managers, okay? But I think it's a great tool, and you need to get in front of it, learn it. And the tools like ChatGPT, which you can have on your phone, is very, very practical.
Nice.
I don't think you need anything. If you have ChatGPT and you have your LinkedIn or something like that to be able to plug into all the network and the community, you're winning your day too.
Nice. One podcast you love or recommend?
You mean apart from yours?
You're too kind.
I think there's a few from PMI that I enjoy very much, but there's also a few. Let me try to see if I can. Just give me a second.
No worries.
I want to give you the right names.
Is it Projectified? I know PMI has Projectified.
I should have prepared myself for those questions. Sorry.
It's all right. You can even skip as well.
Projectified is very good.
All right.
There's one from Canada that's really good too.
Right.
So in any case, that's another thing. Podcasts on project management, there's many.
Right. Sure. One productivity hack that actually works for you. Did you get that, Joey?
The miracle morning thing, or the Pomodoro. You know about the Pomodoro technique?
Yeah, the Pomodoro technique. Where you do 25 minutes?
Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique? You do something for 20 minutes, take a break, then 20 minutes, take a break,
right.
Whatever. One Pomodoro at a time. You successfully do many things. It's a good technique. I've used it very often with success.
Nice. When you're overwhelmed, what helps you reset?
What helps me reset?
Yeah, when you're overwhelmed.
Taking a time to just take a break. I enjoy running and things of the sort, or just walking. And these are things that I think just help me energize myself and keep me in a good mental state. The importance of physical activity is something that we probably don't give it enough consideration, but sometimes just a little walk, 5 minutes, you come back, you feel better.
Right. I just started walking regularly, and it's been very, very helpful. Right. It's just amazing, because I think a lot of times when I'm outside, like, I'm always in a hurry going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. But to just stroll, like, okay, I'm just walking for leisure, like, it is so relaxing. Yeah. And I
have a forest not very far from where I am, about 5 minutes walk. When you just like walk in nature, you get another energy. Yeah. It's hard for you to be in a bad mood when you're there.
Yeah. And I think that's it as well, because like outside my house, there's a lot of green. Well, at least, now the weather is changing, but I think that also played an important role, just because you don't know this, like, it's just green. It just has this very calm, soothing.
Absolutely. Even the smell in the air when you have a lot of green around you, it's different.
It's amazing. Like, a lot of good things. There are a lot of good things that are free, like breathing, and
most things in life are.
Yeah, the sunshine and everything. Yeah, amazing. So we're at the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Dr. Tony, sorry, I was going to say Dr. Tony. I don't know why I made this mistake before with you. Like, I almost called you Dr. Tony at first. But yeah, Joey, if people want to reach out to you, how can they connect with you?
I think the best thing is just go on LinkedIn and follow me or connect with me, and that's kind of my main the main place to connect with me. And you can sign up to my Empowered Project Manager newsletter.
Amazing. All right. Yeah, do reach out to Joey on LinkedIn. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll speak to you next week, same time. All right.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for the invitation again, Mukhtar. It was a
Sure.
pleasure.
Yeah, same here. Take care.